The very last thing that Liszt added in this passage was this note there. His first draft of this was so it's quite different. By the third version it went so in every bar he added this one extra octave, which you have got to go for with all your heart and soul. It's much easier to make that sound through the whole bar than that one, because there's you can't do much except break the string if you hit it hard, but that at the beginning, I don't mind if you use two hands. I'm not fussed about that sort of thing, but don't play it too loudly. This marks at forte because fortissimo is coming. There's plenty of fortissimo next week. But there's no diminuendo and there's no crescendo, so that this is pesante. You do this the same applies to this one. The version before this didn't have any tempo change at all, and then più molto just means a little more movement. It doesn't mean allegro, okay? So if you're there, because you've got a long way to go, you've got a stringendo coming in. Thank you for trying to do this. Liszt put the passage that goes like this was originally written in 2/4 with this leg whole bar. And the left hand did not have the tune, it just had it. And the pedal mark is the one we have now. But if you listen, and I think we have to do a little something to the pedal to just let the lamentoso be up the top. You can't make this. It's clamoroso, but it's not lamentoso. Okay? Don't play it too fast. I know he writes presto. He first wrote an allegro side, then he changed it to presto side. But the tempo is determined by what you can reasonably do with. Because you don't want anything to go wrong in there. And that's got to be able to come back to mezzo forte. You can get mezzo forte always by playing pianissimo in the left hand. Right? Mezzo forte where you play always sounds just loud and thick. But just go for the disperato. Any dissonant note in the right hand, just lean on it a little bit. Just on one of them, don't do it on all of them. Because it'll get too noisy. Don't get too fast through any of this, so that when you get to here, you can take your hands off when you need to. play the first note on the beat, and then the third note just slightly lower. So that we can have the actual chord not interrupted. If you play you get sloppy, you know. You can't all be expected to take temps, I know this. So be very careful of this not to play like every idiot does, because they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this will apply later on to a famous passage that almost everybody plays wrong, which is this is all very good. This, keep this loud. And on no account ever play, which is recommended in the Russian edition and in several others, just because it parallels what happened here. It doesn't parallel it because the first time it stays fortissimo and the second time he pulls the stuffing out of it so that note becomes. And if he didn't do that, if he had, that would be what in the old school books is called a false relation. And you do not want to have one such, okay? Very good, all of that. Lean on both. Il canto is both less. Tenore and the soprano, okay? Especially when you want to move from you don't want the tune to go because it never does any other time, and why would it, you know? So just think of the see why it does what it does. When you get to this, play it as slowly as you dare, jam both pedals down. And just concentrate on letting these things like drops of water. When he finally says affrettando, then più crescendo ed appassionato. It's all with the little finger. Then when we get to the descending scale, promise me you will never put the accents in the good mode with your right hand. But all we want to hear is and then amazingly enough, at the third time, you write only for these 3 bars. For some reason, the first edition says con ottava ad libitum in the right hand. The manuscript says, without any doubt whatsoever, al ottava ad libitum. So he's either telling you to play and what everyone else does is, and then when you get here, you don't play it al ottava, you play some of it al ottava. So decide what you want to be, but there's enough notes in it. only allegro moderato. You're going to get faster over the page in a minute. Try his pedal, it's very difficult. That is the first time, as far as we can work out, that any composer wrote that note. First time it was published also as this piece. Second time it was published as because Liszt was the first serious composer to have these notes on his piano. If ever you hear people playing notes below the bottom C in music by Schumann or Chopin, they are being false to the text, because neither of them had it or wrote it. And Chopin went to such trouble to write sonatas in B minor and B flat minor, deprived himself of the opportunity to have a low bass note to end. But he absolutely knew it. He knew that that was the case, otherwise he would have written another key. Leave it alone. This tremolo way of playing. It doesn't mean play it freely. Liszt always writes the word tremolando when he writes that sort of thing. For my money, there is no doubt whatsoever that you're supposed to play 16 now. And here you're supposed to play more in order to account for the pause. But in the first edition, it definitely says, but in the manuscript of the first version and the second version, although it's slightly written differently, it's written and if the tune is it's exactly the same as the tune is every other time, and there's no earthly reason for there to be a G natural there because in fact we are in A major. Yep. So I think it's just a mistake by both Edition Musica Budapest and Händler, but in both cases because they only consult the final manuscript and don't look at the other versions because they haven't decided. You do what everyone else does here, but please don't. There's a little crescendo, then there's a sforzato. Never says forte. Clear your pedal as often as you can. That's enough tempo for that, so that when you go into this passage originally didn't have that on it, right until the last minute. And even the final draft for the engraver has it stops it. Finish this cadence like this. If you want to end it cleanly, if you can't stretch that, which is hard, play. You've got plenty of time to do it if you do a good riff. And make them wait. And keep that exactly the same tempo that you had for that. And then what you do with it after, it started with that. Finishing this, need to fill off the pedal because that it's got 2 beats more without any pedal at all. So if you pedal it, you're going to have this chord. You don't want that. Clear the pedal on the 4th one. you spend a long time thinking about how to end this piece. The earlier versions have 4 completely different endings until he finally gets exactly what he wants. You know, one of them goes. Just to get you there sharp, there's enough to remind you, and you knew that. Anyway, sorry I haven't overtalked you, but you play it very well, so I just thought I'd tell you these little bits. Alright, I've written most of them in there, but no, it's a terrific piece. It's usually played, not in your case, but usually played by juvenile delinquents who are trying to do something other than play the piece. They should first of all be compelled to go and read Dante in the original Italian, and I hope you've had a little bit of a look at it. Even if you've only read it. Well, I don't care if you read the Chinese version, I'm sure it's okay. But you know, nearly everything by Liszt has got some reference outside itself, and it's our job to do the homework. If you hear people play the Petrarch sonnets without having read the poems, you can always tell, because the story isn't there. And whilst we all know perfectly well that a series of notes cannot of itself tell you about Petrarch's love for Laura, it will put you in a certain frame of mind that a poem about washing dishes will not. And that's what you have to do.